we can just get rid of Jeremy, everything will go back to normal.
That reminds me. I saw Miss Emily earlier. You remember her? You know she's Jeremy's niece.
She's looking for him.
That's right. She's helping us, in her own way.
As long as she don't stand in the way of the mother of 1,000 young.
I don't think she knows or cares about that. She just here for Jeremy. I've been more worried about that Detective Carmen fella. He been snooping around asking all kinds of questions.
God, it hurts.
I wish you would stop doing that. Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
The orderlies, Baptiste and Lottie, were back at Derceto as well, like pieces of Emily's past haunting her. She couldn't figure out if they were on her side or not, and what was Lottie suffering from?
What's going on here? It's blocked.
Lunacy and the Astarte Artist Colony, a monograph by Yael Klein. In early 1909, the old Derceto plantation outside of New Orleans was turned into an artist's colony. 3 famous European artists rented the house and the surrounding land from the owner, the Ledoux family. The colony was chiefly run by Sebastian Cortez, who was playfully dubbed the captain by his collaborators, William Arges and Heinrich Kassel. The colony existed for 6 years, until one day all 12 members disappeared without a trace. It is widely believed that their disappearance is connected to the disastrous hurricane that passed through on September 29, 1915, but nothing truly supports this claim. What is known is their frequent participation in New Orleans nightlife, their love for hosting parties, and their elaborate contributions to the Mardi Gras parades as the Pirates of Pontchartrain. Accounts of their lifestyle can be found in almost every gossip column. It can effectively be summed up as carefree and bohemian. In late June 1909, the name Astarte first appeared in the newspapers. Cortez said the name came to him as he was painting. There is never any claim to knowing about the ancient Phoenician fertility goddess with the same name before this time. His fellow colonist Heinrich Kassel did know, because he later produced sculptures that show clear references to ancient idols of the goddess. It's impossible to know for sure how this name suddenly made an appearance, but it is interesting because of Derceto's history. Even the name Derceto is the Greek name of a Syrian fertility goddess. In the case of naming the plantation, Derceto was certainly not an accident. We know that Elijah Pickford intended to build a temple for his cult, for he had distributed pamphlets 2 years prior to the purchase of the land, advertising his intentions. His followers were estimated to be almost 100 men and women, mostly sailors, Maroons, and Cajuns, when the plantation was built. To outsiders, Derceto registered as an ordinary slave plantation, which enabled Pickford and his flock to remain hidden for decades. The official story is that the cult lasted until 1862, when the Union Army came and burned down the plantation and scattered all who lived there. Following the Civil War, new people started to congregate in the ruins of Derceto to invent a new fertility goddess, the Shub Niggurath. As much as Derceto is a particular name to have heard of, it's not entirely uncommon among the learned. Astarte is equally known and could have been subconsciously chosen by well-read artists. Shub Niggurath is, on the other hand, very uncommon. Almost impossible that anyone in Louisiana would have heard that name. The name is referenced only in rare books like Unaussprechlichen Kulten and the Necronomicon, and is believed to be a bastardization of Arabic words meaning pertaining to the dark young. The few paragraphs printed on the goddess are so upsetting that no one in their right mind would want to build a religion resting on such qualities. The Shub Niggurath cult was hard to get rid of, but it is believed that despite the police jailing and killing several cultists over the years, the main culprit in the cult's demise is the cult itself, which seems to line up with every instance of cult activity on Derceto's grounds. When Captain J.W. Norton of the Union Army arrived, he described the people at Derceto as malnourished and maniacal. As much as the army tried to save them, they fought back with fervor, as if nothing was going to stop them from slowly destroying themselves. While the disappearance of the Astarte artist colony remains a mystery, the recurring motif seems to suggest that their fate involved lunacy and a hunger for self-sacrifice to that fertility goddess with 1,000 names.
Mr. Waits must have had a spare key to Dr. Gray's office, but where? I need the key. I don't know the combination. Wait, maybe I do. It worked.
The last guest in the empty room suffered from severe maladaptation. I must write this down, because if I understand the condition sufficiently, it could make me deny this fact at a later date, and there is reason for me to think I may come to suffer the consequences from this dysfunction, as some who came in contact with the guest seemed to adopt a new worldview in which everything was predetermined but broken. Upon accepting this worldview, some memories became unmanageable and later rejected. I do not know what this means. I cannot even remember the fate of the guest. I think they were simply misplaced one day and forgotten. just like all documents pertaining to this guest. They have all been destroyed, or they never existed in the first place. Who wrote this? There has never been a guest in the empty room.
Emily felt lost as she entered the office of Dr. Gray, much like she had the last time she was here. She began to question what she was hoping to find. She was simply going on a hunch that Dr. Gray was somehow tied up in this contract with the Dog Man. Emily couldn't even begin to imagine what kind of evidence she would need. Besides a clear confession, of course. But she doubted she would ever find something like that. She was grasping at straws. The steps on the contract were so confusing to her that she was just hoping to get some small indication on where to go next.
Here we are, Dr. Gray's office. Now let's see if we can find some answers.
I have finished tidying up Miss Beauregard's belongings. I will leave it to you to contact her agent and have them collect her things. I found one of Grace's drawings she might want back, along with this key in her room, which I believe you've been looking for, Mrs. Thompson.
Dearest Dr. Manzetti, I find myself in a losing battle with my patient. As I've disclosed in my previous letter, his delusions have him completely captured. It's bad enough that he is torturing himself with paranoia, but his madness turns out to be quite persuasive to others, effectively laying the ground for mass delusion. I am writing to you in hope that you can give me some guidance. Beyond my ambition to avoid devastating surgery on my patient, I have grown worried about my own defenses. The words of my patient are deranged, yet they often resonate with something primitive within me. I have tried photographing his brain with X-rays. It was surprisingly difficult to get good results. Dark blotches on the plates kept obscuring all details. My patient looked at the bad plates and cried out in terror, telling me the dark areas was the shadow of the worm, eating him from inside. I could not see anything out of the ordinary. I hope this is a sign that my mind is not as receptive to the madness as I had feared. After further inquiry, my patient described the shadows inside his mind as some kind of chthonic monstrosity that wants to undermine his sanctuary. This is clearly a reference to a place he calls Teroea, a sort of library or convent that works as a psychological haven. With this imaginary haven threatened by this Chthonian, he has now constructed another, less pleasant hiding spot. Lately, he has been bringing up a metaphor of a steamboat that has run aground, that he feels like he needs to start the engines and reverse, but he is afraid that the hole in the hull would cause the whole ship to sink. I've been watching him turn this metaphor into reality for the last week. He knows it's made up, but he is doubling down, trying to make it a real memory. I feel certain that this is my chance to break through the barriers of his self-deceit.
Hey, little lady, how's your evening been going?
Ups and downs, I suppose.
I hear that. We all live in the life of an elevator operator.
Are you alright, sweetie?
Do you want to see my mask, miss? I'm making it for St. John's.
How did you... Is that supposed to be my... Ow!
You should learn your place, little girl.
Why are you acting this way? What did I ever do to you? Grace! Grace!
The mask had reminded Emily of her father. It didn't seem like a chance connection, but a purposeful reference made by that child. How could Grace have known what he looked like and that it would upset Emily so? And why would she use those words? Emily felt like it was beyond strange. It felt impossible. Did it even happen? Was she losing her mind?
I'll just borrow these. At least he's breathing. I'll just let him sleep it off. There's something missing.
Jeremy knew that the only one who could help him now was the guest in room number 3. The room seemed to have been empty for so long, but that wasn't allowed to be true. The story needed to be different. To include something from the outside, he would bring the guest back to room 3 and show them what was in that safe. 913. But those were not the right numbers. That was the combination for the safe in the clerk's office. The empty room wasn't meant for patients, but many came and went anyway. Mr. Waits preferred to keep the door locked. He didn't consciously think so, but his primitive instincts wanted to keep visitors from entering in either direction.
This is my room. I belong here. When I get back, I did this. I wrote that. I don't know the combination. Wait, maybe I do.
Darling, I finally found that photograph from my time in France during the war. I don't expect this to be your fiancé, but it did make me think of him. What an incredible man he must have been. You were lucky in a way. He could have been a nobody and died falling into the Mississippi. Instead, he volunteered to travel across the world to fight for people in despair, dying with honor like Achilles at Troy. I am jealous of you. Or maybe him. It's all incredibly romantic. That's what I wanted to say. Please feel free to use my camera if you want to. It might cheer you up. It might bring him closer to you. Even if just in memory. Ruth.
How long have I been here? What is going on here? I need the key.
Radiography. Patient Jeremy Hartwood. Date June 14, 1930. Plates. Jeremy's skull proved difficult to capture properly. Partial radiographs worked best. A complete picture of the brain can be assembled by piecing 3 plates together. Observations. Even when looking at an assembled version, a shadow covers significant parts of Jeremy's brain. Possible tumor, but more likely that the equipment is failing. Jeremy reacted strongly to the pictures and claimed to see a giant clay worm eating and displacing his memories. Notes. While this exercise has left me nowhere closer to an answer, I feel confident that a Burkhart lobotomy should sever all necessary parts. Hypothetical psychosurgery based on the ideas by Burkhart and the St. Petersburg research could end up saving Jeremy's mind. Severing the connections around the frontal lobe would certainly solve most mental afflictions. The procedure would be brutal in performance, as well as in efficiency. An ice pick pushed through the edge of the eye and into the skull would untether the nerves like Alexander cutting the Gordian knot. As this would likely leave Jeremy in a very different condition, All other paths should first be explored. The medical instrument I would need for this lobotomy is missing, and I should have Waits order a new one.
What's happening?
Jeremy, look the other way. Look into the woods and tell me what you see.
No, please.
What do you see, Jeremy?
I can see the dark heart of the bayou. It is surrounded.
By what, Jeremy?
Dark young. 1,000 young!
You have to keep looking, Jeremy.
Let him be, Lottie.
We have to know, Baptiste. We've worked so hard. What can you tell us, Jeremy? Please give us something.
I hear voices.
What do you hear, Jeremy?
Whisperings, a giant. It's the young. They're praising her. The mother.
Tell us what they are saying. What are they saying, Jeremy?
Ever the praises, abundance to the black goat of the woods. Hear us, mother, and take pity on us.
This is some messed up stuff.
What else, Jeremy?
Accept our sacrifice and judge our work. Iha! 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 Shubnigan! Iha! Shubnigan! The black goat of the woods of 1,000 yards!
What's this? Oh, that's better. I guess I never got a chance to look around this place. This feels familiar somehow.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Jeremy, where are you?
I'm stuck in the mud and the fire is taking me.
Jeremy? Can you hear
The
me?
motor is dead. I can't do anything more.
Hang on, Jeremy. I'll get the boat running. I'll get you out of here.
A ghostly voice sounding like Jeremy called out for help. Emily couldn't quite understand where the voice was coming from. It somehow seemed to be a part of the place itself. All she could make out was that Jeremy was stuck and needed her to get the steamboat running.
The boat is run aground, crashed right into the bayou. If I get the motor running... I can break this. I just need something to hit it with. Yeah. I think it just needs fuel to run. Jeremy?
Are you ready to tell me what happened?
What's happening?
I put a rope around my neck, and then I strangled all life from my body.
Uncle!
Are you under the impression that you died? Yes. No. I was supposed to die.
What does that mean to you? That you were supposed to die?
I'm the catalyst. I had to die to make the story happen.
What story? What are you referring to, Jeremy?
30 years ago, Frederic needed me to die.
Jeremy!
You're not making any sense, Jeremy. Come back. Find your focus.
Uncle?
I cheated everyone. I didn't play my part. I escaped my doom. Destiny!
Again, find your focus.
Jeremy!
Now everything is wrong. Nothing is in place.
Hey, listen to me! We're gonna drown!
Calm down, Miss Hartwood. You're not in any danger.
But... Jeremy... He was here, wasn't he?
Miss Hartwood, I am beginning to suspect your family curse is catching up with you. Have you ever talked to a doctor about your condition?
No. No, I was just confused. I thought I saw him for a moment. I'm fine. I'll let you be.
Miss, I want you to know I'm here to help, if you need me.
Ruth, are you there? No, of course not. Is this how you travel, Ruth?
It was France, where John died. Maybe this meant she could save him.
The war in Europe rages on, and America is doing its part to hold back the German aggression. Ships from Boston and New Orleans arrived yesterday.
I'll find you, John. What was that? God, I thought I was done with you. I gotta run. There's no way I can kill that thing.
Today, the American Expeditionary Forces face considerable
John?
losses in France. The brave men fallen on these
John.
fields forever be
Oh,
as
John.
defenders not of just Europe, but the world.
What's the matter, Emily?
President Woodrow Wilson spoke to
I
our
can't do this.
asking them to stand tall.
What's the matter?
Their
I can't take you dying again.
speak of them proudly. And remember
I'm
them.
still hurting.
What's the matter,
But
Emily?
the war effort in Europe is not our
Your death was just so
death numbers on the home front
Shameful.
are on the rise due to
unfair.
influenza known as the Spanish flu. The New Orleans City Council decided to open yet another emergency hospital in the old Derceto plantation.
Where is this? Where am I?
Emily woke to an overwhelming smell of musty earth and gluttonous thick air. Where was she?
Oh, come on. That's better.
Emily was back at Derceto, but sealed inside a part of the basement that was no longer in use. This was clearly a mistake. Emily had confronted her trauma. She deserved her freedom to carry on with her work on the contract. This prison felt like an insult, like the dog man was cheating her. If he wasn't going to honor her progress, then she was on her own. Of all the paperwork left inside this place, there had to be some document showing her a way out. She just had to figure out what the rooms were and how they were sealed.
Closing the Refuge, June 17, 1919. It is with a heavy heart that I must declare the Derceto Refuge to be harmful beyond saving. As an emergency hospital, we have over the last 2 years treated hundreds of patients suffering the so-called Spanish flu. Unfortunately, our mortality numbers are unforgivable. While the influenza in itself was often successfully treated, many died of fungal infections and sudden acts of violent madness. In order to dismantle the refuge safely, building engineers will survey what parts of the house are especially contaminated by the peculiar rot discovered by Jean-Baptiste Tabois. The rot is believed to be the main perpetrator in spreading the deadly fungal infection, but also the cause of the incurable madness. The most afflicted rooms will then be sealed permanently to create a cordon sanitaire. As the dead seem to exacerbate the spreading of the fungal infection, all bodies that can't be cremated by tomorrow will be forever entombed inside Dossetto's sealed section. The refuge was never meant to be permanent, and as the influenza epidemic seems to be in decline, it stands to reason that we shut the facility altogether. Many brave volunteers have helped for very little pay to treat those in need for almost 2 years, and we are forever in their debt. All surviving patients will be transferred to other medical facilities around New Orleans as soon as possible. At the end of the summer, we should be able to leave Dossetto to recover. Dr. Isaac Herbert.
What's that?
$217. Oh, John. I didn't know this is where you would end up. I didn't want to know. I stopped visiting you because I couldn't stand the indignity of your awful illness. I was ashamed of you. Ashamed of myself. Forgive me. Please, John. Let me go. Are we done here? Is this what you wanted?
John Marcus died at Dossetto of the Spanish flu. Emily stopped visiting him because she didn't want to see him waste away. She adopted a lie because it felt better. Emily hated the pathetic man that passed away in Dossetto, but she was very proud of the man she made up, a man who died a martyr in the trenches of France. This must have been the true trauma that the dog man specified in the contract. But why was it Emily's and not Jeremy's?
Miss Hartwood, lock the door, will you? I'd rather not run into dear Dr. Gray if I can help it.
This feels strange. So very strange.
Emily felt detached, as if watching herself from across the room, awkwardly attempting to help Detective Conby solve the case of her missing uncle. What was happening to her? And why did this place feel so familiar?
You okay?
This place? It's like something from my childhood.
It's just a private study of a very peculiar man.
I think this is it. I'm properly mad.
You should be. Dr. Gray's playing with fire. Derceto's a powder keg of loonies, all ready to play their part in a murderous cult.
I'm trying to say I've lost my mind, Detective. The Hartwood curse has caught up with me.
I'm sure you're exaggerating. Try to focus on whatever you've been doing.
Right. Breaking the Dark Man's contract. Does it even matter anymore? There's a book missing.
A secret door.
Looks like it.
Careful. Let me go first. Now we're talking. Great job, Emily.
This has something to do with the...
Good to finally meet you, Mr. Hartwood. I'm here on the behalf of your brother Philip. You were expecting me, weren't you?
Yes. You're from Derceto, no?
That's right. I just wanted to ask you a few questions to see if there is anything I can do to help you and your family.
Okay.
I understand you're full of imagination. You make up a lot of things.
I suppose.
And you obsess over them, blurring reality and fiction.
Sometimes.
Do you want to tell me about the Dark Man?
No. No, I don't.
That's all right. Perhaps there is something else you can tell me. Something you know to be made up, but you hold dear.
Juan?
John? Who's John?
No. Juan Luis Jorge. Oh, wait there a moment. Here, take a look.
Is he... Oh, he is the author.
It's a magnificent book. Life-changing even. The real Juan is long dead, but I like to think of him as my friend. My most beloved friend.
I see. Do you often do this? Fantasize about people you read about?
No. Well, there is Jacob.
Who is Jacob?
Turn to the last page.
Oh, it's a newspaper article. The Prisoner of Ice, Jacob van Ostad. Is he also your beloved friend?
Oh, no, Doctor. Not at all. He is the fire that fights fire.
Yes, I think it's clear your overstimulated imagination, this mania, needs to be tempered for you to live a normal life. I know your family calls it the Hartwood curse, but I want you to know that there is nothing supernatural about your condition. It's all inside your head. And with that, I'm very qualified to deal with. In time, you will be cured.
In time.
Yes, in time we will exorcise all your demons, all the dark men.
Yeah!
Please, Mr. Hartwood, calm yourself.
What happened?
Oh, don't you worry your little head about it, Miss Hartwood. Your uncle and I just had our first breakthrough.
Numbers for the talisman. Found anything?
Oh, Dr. Gray's in so deep, I knew it. He's as mad as his patients. I mean, look at this. She who can till the soil of this sick world and begin again, the black goat of the woods with 1,000 young. Absolute insanity.
I have the strangest sensation that this is somehow Jeremy's room.
What? No. This is Dr. Gray's private quarters.
I want to apologize, Detective, for my elusive behavior tonight. I'm glad you haven't given up on me and my uncle yet.
Ah, you got nothing to apologize for. In fact, you've been out of my hair for most of the evening, you're self-reliant, and you've been helping with your own particular brand of investigation. As far as I'm concerned, you're an exemplary client.
Thank you, Edward. Mr. Carnby.
The Snake Dagger, a monograph by Yael Klein. In Ludwig Prin's book on pagan rituals called The Mystery of the Grave, as translated by Nicholas Vachy, there are several references to a sacrificial dagger called the Snake Dagger. It has long been thought of as a poor translation of the original text, that it would be more appropriate with worm dagger from the Latin vermis cultrum. This seems natural following the recent consensus that the original title of Prin's book, De Vermis Mysteris, should literally translate to the mystery of the worm. However, this would take away from Vachy's great effort at translating the underlying meaning of the words and revealing several cultural beliefs. While Prin certainly was using the term worm as a symbol or synecdoche for death and the dead, which is made clear by the contents of the book, in the case of the dagger, we shouldn't be too hasty to dismiss his translation. Reading through Vachy's correspondence with his patron, it appears that he had more than just the Latin text at his disposal. Vachy had dug up Prin's living relatives and uncovered several cross-referenced historical texts and an actual snake dagger. The dagger was dated to the early Middle Kingdom of Egypt and had such a clear shape of a wave that Vachy considered calling it the sinusoidal blade. Knowing the full story, it seems prudent that he chose to translate it as snake and not worm. There are several reasons why this choice of word helps us understand the pagans that Prin's book attempts to describe. The symbolic value of the shape becomes more apparent when reading about the use for the dagger. In the passage of possession and exorcism, we find the snake dagger poisons the poisoner within the victim and is therefore pacified. Where the literal text would tell us that the worm dagger trumps the demon possessing the victim, it tells us nothing of their reasoning, only that somehow this dagger wins against the demon, like it had the better hand in poker. Vachy's translation allows us to follow the underlying logic to the ritual magic that is being performed. Poison the poisoner sounds like fighting fire with fire. That to hurt the demon possessing its victim, the priests would have to fight back with a power that is known to the evil they are fighting. The snake dagger is therefore not only a good way to describe its form, but it also helps us understand how it could be thought of as a useful tool for exorcism. Finally, it also helps us understand their relationship to lunacy, that it was thought of as something poisoning the mind rather than controlling it. What is also interesting to note is that the possessed are always considered poisoned in their head and not their heart. The snake dagger always went to the eye of the possessed, leaving them partially blind. if they had the good luck to survive.
I can't believe I didn't see that before. Hello? Who's there? Jeremy?
Jeremy is with the Dark Man. You can't save him.
Jeremy is with the Dark Man? Where? Who is he? What is the Dark Man?
The Heartwood curse. He will come for you too.
The voice on the phone was somehow familiar, yet so strange. Who was that?
You heard the telephone ring, right?
No, the telephone's cut off. I tried calling the police earlier.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
None of Emily's experiences seemed to line up with reality anymore. Even when she accomplished something, it seemed absurd. Was this what it was like to be completely consumed by the Heartwood curse? Not mind-numbing terror, but a continuous state of confusion breaking you down.
Hey, Mr. Carnby?
What?
Nothing, right?
It's a closet?
That's right, Detective. I'll see you later. I have to finish this.
You're going inside the closet?
I know what it looks like, but I can't explain it, much less justify it.
All right. You do what you have to do, miss.
Goodbye, Detective.
The icy wastes before her felt profound and deeply wrong. Like staring into a grisly wound revealing bone under the fleshy mounds of muscle, seeing layers of Jeremy that she would rather stay hidden.
Hey, we can talk about this.
It's too late for that. It's too late.
Is going to be in the middle of your existence, Jeremy. And at least set everything in order. I did everything you wanted to break the pact. What else can I do? Wait, it did work. That's why you're coming after me. You're in my head now. In that case, I hope you enjoy your stay.
Emily, stop!
Don't worry. We got you.
Are you alone? Or is he in there with you? Miss Hotwood is up!
Heard you almost painted the foyer with your own blood and guts. Good to see you still in one piece. Stick around, will you? It's going to be an exciting night.
Good to see you made it, miss. And all that ruckus, Lottie gave you a healthy dose of that sleeping juice. Wasn't sure you'd be waking up again.
What happened?
You had a psychological breakdown. Tried to shoot yourself. Sorry for the manhandling, but we just wanted to save you.
You also stabbed Jeremy in the eye.
Is he alright?
He's a little strange, but everything else is back to normal.
Really? I broke the pact?
I don't know what you did, but it worked. Let's see you standing up, miss.
Jeremy, are you okay? I'm so sorry for hurting you. How can you ever forgive me?
Emily, I missed you so. I do hope you'll stay with me for a while.
Uncle, what's wrong? Is it anesthesia? He seems so meek.
I wish that was the case. It turns out that you managed to lobotomize him. It's actually quite impressive considering your technique.
This is permanent?
You sacrificed a piece of his mind to save the whole. It's a little like treating a bad knee by cutting off the leg. It's blunt, but it works.
That's terrible.
Perhaps. But at least he won't suffer anymore. Do you remember the Dark Man, Jeremy?
Ah, yes. Where did he go? I hope he is doing all right.
You see? With a violent stab, you made any future treatment quite redundant. I assume you will be bringing him with you back to New Orleans.
I will. I just need to find Detective Carnby.
Everything was back to normal. Did any of it really happen? What had Emily actually been doing all night?
I'll be back soon, Jeremy. Then we'll go back to the city.
How fun. I do like riding in the motor car.
Is there any chance he'll relapse back to his previous condition?
None at all. He is forever cured from all worries and other difficult feelings.
Have you seen Detective Carnby?
I'm sure he's around here somewhere, poking and prodding.
Emily reluctantly accepted the bittersweet end to her journey. She had found Jeremy and brought him back to Derceto, but at what cost? Partial blindness and permanent brain damage. Maybe it was for the best, she tried to tell herself. Jeremy did seem more docile, happier even. And whatever spell of insanity she had suffered herself, everything was finally set right. It was time to find Detective Carnby and head back to New Orleans.
Well done, Miss Hartwood. You officially made Derceto the dullest place in existence again.
Oh, thank you. Happy to be of service. Have you seen Detective Carnby anywhere?
Still chasing that lovable palooka around, are you? I'm sure you'll find him.
Can I write to you when I get back to town?
You are too sweet, Miss Hartwood. I'll look forward to reading all about your tedious routine.
Good to see you're still with us, miss. Are you hungry?
No, thank you. I'm still a bit woozy. Ooh, is that gumbo?
I make it every year. We set up a little feast by the wishing tree and start a new year together.
Have you seen Mr. Carnby?
I haven't seen him for a while. Maybe he left.
Looks like a storm's coming.
Radio says it could get real bad. Floodings and such.
I should probably get moving before the weather gets worse. Have you seen Detective Carnby?
Not for a while, but he says he's gonna wait for you.
Take care, Batiste.
You too, Miss Emily.
Do you know what's about to happen here?
Oh, just a little ceremony we do each year on the eve of St. John. We raise our glasses to the old wishing tree here and ask for a better year.
Is it all for show? Or do you actually believe the tree can help?
Well, I guess some of us do. I mean, Lottie and Mags are pretty invested. Taking it a little too far, you know.
Sounds like you might be in a cult.
Yeah, I can see how you think that.
I almost forgot this was here.
The very heart of Deseto, you know. Almost time to call on her.
What is it that you do? Is it like the voodoo rituals you read about in the papers?
I don't know, miss. I never saw one up close. My family has always been suspicious of the hoodoo.
You haven't seen Detective Carnby, have you?
No, and I hope he stays away. I don't think he would understand what is about to happen here.
What are you doing?
Preparing for the ceremony. This time she will come. I'm sure of it.
Who's coming, Grace?
The black go to the woods, the mother of 1,000 young.
I hope you find what you're looking for, Grace. Whatever it is that you need.
That's a terrible thing to say.
Everyone knows what to do? Y'all know the new words.
Mrs. Thompson, we talked about this. I'm not sure everyone is comfortable.
Doctor, I insist. This is important.
We've waited for so long, Doctor.
Let's just go with the old song. Not every change is an improvement.
Boss, good or bad, we need to move forward.
All in, Doc. Let's bet it all.
But we don't know what we're dealing with.
It'll be okay, Doctor. Better even.
Ever their praises and abundance to the black goat of the woods. Hear us, mother. Take pity on us. Take pity on us.
Ever their
praises and abundance to the black goat of the woods.
Ever
Hear us and take pity on us. Take pity on us.
hear us, mother.
Ever their praises and abundance to the black goat of the woods. Hear us, mother, and take pity on us. Take pity on us. Accept our sacrifice and judge our work.
What are you doing? This is madness!
This here's what needs to happen.
She's just a child!
With 1,000 years!
Edward!
Get out, Emily! We're leaving!
No! There has to be a sacrifice!
Come with me.
Emily Hartwood arrived only moments later. Together they said farewell and left the people of Derceto to their St. John's Eve festivities. As Conby sat down in the driver's seat, he was filled with a sense of melancholy. Emily didn't seem happy, just relieved that they were leaving. And Jeremy just sat quiet, like a dog beaten into submission. As he started up the car, Emily handed Detective Conby an envelope with the money she owed him. He sighed, accepted the bittersweet end, and drove back to New Orleans.
I have to stop that thing! It's gonna kill everything in its way!
No, Ruth. Get yourself together, or only you have to finish this.
Emily, are you alright?
I don't understand anything that just happened. What was that?
The whole gang was a cult dedicated to something called the Black Goat of the Woods. I've been trying to gather as much information as I could. It was only after you started talking about monsters that I thought maybe there was some truth to all the nonsense I was finding.
Where's Jeremy? Uncle! Are you alright?
Everything is out of order. This isn't the way the story goes. I shouldn't be alive.
Don't say that. You made it out. Be happy. Okay?
Hey, kid. You doing alright?
It wasn't what I expected, but you can't always get what you want.
Alright, you ready to head back to New Orleans?
Come on, Jeremy. Let's go.
Can I come?
Don't leave her. You have to take her to Hell's Kitchen.
What on earth are you talking about?